So, I'll be honest, I thought I was recording the whole time, and I'm not. So, real quickly, I'm using this palette. We have these colors. And so far, I've used these three and this in my outer corner. And yeah, so welcome to our next initiation task. I really hope you guys don't mind that this video kind of started in the middle of my makeup look. I honestly think though that the message is way more important than the makeup. So in case you're new here, we have been reading The Women Who Run with the Wolves, the story of Vasilisa the Wise. And we've been talking about different initiation tasks that a woman has to go through during her process of becoming a wild woman. And today we are talking about the 6th initiation task, which is separating this from that. In this part of the tale, Baba Yaga requires 2 very demanding tasks of Vasilisa. A woman's psychic tasks are these: learning fine discrimination, separating one thing from the other with finest discernment, learning to make fine distinctions in judgment, which is sorting the mildewed corn from the good corn, and sorting the poppy seeds from a pile of dirt. Observing the power of the unconscious and how it works even when the ego is not aware, which are the pair of hands which appear in the air. More learning about life, which is the corn, and death, the poppy seeds. Vasilisa is asked to separate 4 substances: mildewed corn from whole corn, poppy seed from dirt. The intuitive doll completes the sorting of one from the other. Sometimes this sorting process occurs at such a deep level it is barely conscious to us, until one day. The sorting spoken of in this tale is the kind which occurs when we face a dilemma or question, but not much is forthcoming to help solve it. But leave it alone and come back to it later, and there may be a good answer waiting for us where there was nothing before. Or go to sleep. See what you dream. Perhaps the 2-million-year-old wild woman will come visit you from the nightland. Perhaps she will be bearing the solution, or will show you that the answer is under your bed, or is in your pocket, in a book, or behind your ear. It is an observable phenomenon that a question asked before bedtime, with practice, often elicits an answer upon awakening. There is something in the psyche, something of the intuitive doll, something under, over, or in the collective unconscious which sorts the materials while we sleep and dream. And reliance on this attribute is also part of the wild nature. Symbolically, the mildewed corn carries a dual meaning. As a liquor, mildewed corn may be used both as an inebriative and as a medicine. There is a fungal condition called corn smut, a rather fuzzy black fungus which is found in mildewed corn, this being reputed to be hallucinogenic. It is hypothesized by various scholars that hallucinogens from wheat, barley, poppies, or maize were used in the old Eleusinian goddess rites in Greece. Additionally, the sorting of the corn that the Yaga bids Vasilisa do is also related to the gathering of medicine by curanderas, the old women healers one can still observe at this work throughout North, Central, and South America today. We see the women healers' ancient remedies and treatments also in the poppy seed, which is a soporific and barbiturate, as well as in the dirt, which has been used since ancient times and is still used today in poultices and as packs in baths and even for ingestion under certain circumstances. This is one of the loveliest phrasings in the story. The fresh corn, mildewed corn, poppy seed, and dirt are all remnants of a healing ancient apothecary. These substances are used as balms, salves, infusions, and poultices to hold other medicines on the body. As metaphors, they are also medicines for the mind. Some nourish, others put to rest, some cause languor, others stimulation. They are faucets of the life-death-life cycles. Baba Yaga is not only asking Vasilisa to separate this from that, to determine the difference between things of like kind, such as real love from false love, or nourishing life from spoiled life, but she is also asking her to distinguish one medicine from the other. Like dreams, which can be understood on the objective level, can still retain a subjective reality. These elements of food medicines also have a symbolic guidance for us. Like Vasilisa, we have to sort out our psychic healing agents, to sort and to sort and to sort, to understand that food for our psyche is also medicine for the psyche, and to wring the truth, the essence, out of these elements for our own nourishment. All these elements and tasks are teaching Vasilisa about the life nature, the give and take of caring for the wild nature. Sometimes, in order to bring a woman closer to this nature, I ask her to keep a garden. Let this be a psychic one or one with mud, dirt, grain, and all the things that surround and help the assail. Let it represent the wild psyche. The garden is a concrete connection to life and death. You could even say there is a religion of garden, for it teaches profound psychological and spiritual lessons. Whatever can happen to a garden can happen to the soul and psyche. Too much water, too little water, infestations, heat, storm, flood, invasion, miracles, dying back, coming back, boon, healing, blossoming, bounty, beauty. During the life of the garden, women keep a diary, recording the signs of life-giving and life-taking. Each entry cooks up a psychic soup. In the garden, we practice letting things, ideas, preferences, desires, even love, both live and die. We plant, we pull, we bury, we dry seed, sow it, moisten it, support it, harvest. The garden is a meditation practice, that of seeing when it is time for something to die. In the garden, one can see the time coming for both fruition and for dying back. In the garden, one is moving with rather than against the inhalations and exhalations of greater wild nature. Through this meditation, we acknowledge that the life-death-life cycle is a natural one. Both life-giving and death-dealing natures are waiting to be befriended, forever loved. In this process, we become like the cyclical wild. We have the ability to infuse energy and strengthen life, and to stand out of the way of what dies. And that, my friends, is our 6th initiation task, which is learning to separate this from that. It was funny, I even remember one of you guys mentioning to me that the simple sentence of Vasilisa separating the poppy seeds from the dirt had so much symbology behind it that was previously not noticed. I think that's the beauty with reading books, and especially stories, is that sometimes we hear metaphors or sayings or phrases that we've heard before, or kind of notions that we've pondered about, but hearing it in a different way or applying it in a different way sometimes really allows things to click in our head in ways that it didn't before. So in this task, if you guys can remember, there's a couple times where Vasilisa is a little bit worried that she won't be able to finish everything. And that's when her doll is the one that says it's time for you to go to sleep, and maybe when you wake up things are going to be a little bit different. And I think that that's a really tall tale sign of something that a lot of us, I think, need to do more often. I know so many of us overthink, and with the way life has been, I think it's kind of impossible for us to not be just almost like fireworks are just going off in our head almost every second. Being able to let things rest and go to sleep, and heck, if you dream about it, you dream about it, but if not, you don't. But allowing time and energy to pass really allows different insights to come into our intuition. Not only that, but I think a million of you guys can agree with me when I say sometimes just going to sleep, even if it's us crying ourselves to sleep, we feel a million times better in the morning, and it's allowing that bit of energy and that bit of resting to diminish itself before we wake up and start like going about our ways again. Something that I also thought was interesting is that sometimes our unconscious mind is working in ways that we don't even understand until a little bit further down on the road. And that's something that happens with Vasilisa when she sees the random pair of hands appear in midair when Baba Yaga asks for some help. She doesn't understand what that is, and I remember Baba Yaga even says, we don't need to worry about that right now. Don't worry about what the hands are doing. Too much knowledge can make you too old too quick. So I just think it's so interesting how we're always on go, 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 right? And it's really interesting because I have been reading this other book that talks about meditative thinking versus calculative thinking, and how we've been conditioned to calculate our thoughts 24/7. We're ready for what's next. We got to think about what's next. We got to go, go, go. We got to do it. Whereas meditative thinking, whether you're meditating, in silence, or if you're just meditating through visualization, meditative thinking makes us pause and slow down. And like Vasilisa says, when she slows down, Baba Yaga teaches her that sometimes things are going to come into play, but it's through us slowing down and just taking a break, taking a deep breath, and maybe sitting down and learning that, hey, I've been doing a lot in life. Maybe I need to sit down and sort my poppy seeds from my dirt. Maybe I need to sit down and make sure that the mildewed corn isn't getting in the way of my fresh corn, right? The life, death, life. We got to get rid of the old to allow the new to keep growing. And I think it's even more amazing when she adds in the notion of having our own garden. And for forever, we've been talking about the power of a seed, the power of a garden, the power of transforming our garden. We've been talking about that for so long, you guys. Nature has so many answers for us, but we are so busy calculating everything that we miss it, right? We miss the meditative processes that all nature goes through. And it's so crazy because nature itself goes through the life, death, life cycles, but it never forces anything. It never has to sit there and think too hard. It never pulls itself up, uproots itself, and makes it go somewhere else. It's patient. It allows the soil to heat up. It allows the sun to go down, to sleep for a little bit, so they can welcome the sun with new energy. We got to be able to hold our heads up high. And I think the more that we are just going from one thing to the next without ever really taking a break or wanting to take a break, I think this is perfect timing for right now. It's almost 2022. I feel like this whole world needs to have a new garden built, and that we all need to sit down and watch it grow for a little bit. Like, everybody just take a break, sit down, and watch the flowers grow. And notice that it doesn't take overnight. A flower does not grow overnight. A seed doesn't even germinate overnight, Everything takes its own process. And trust your own timing as well, It's okay to slow down. Wild women aren't always meant to be running, Wolves even take a break here and then. So we really need to as well. And I think I know the more that we uplift each other, the more that we remind each other that the number one thing that all connects us is pain and suffering. It doesn't matter how old we are. It doesn't matter what race we are. It doesn't matter what ethnicity we are. It doesn't matter what gender we are. Pain can touch everybody. So I think just lending a helping hand to those whose garden might need a little bit of rearranging is a lot better than just walking by and hoping that they'll tend to it the next day. Or maybe when the sun is shining the next day, they will go out into the garden. Or, maybe when they get a better night's rest. It's okay to help others. It's okay to lend other people some of our seeds. And it's okay to offer people some water when we can tell that they need some. So yeah, you guys, I loved that initiation task. Was short and sweet. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this makeup look. I will have all the products listed below. All I did that was a little different was I used concealer, and I usually don't really use concealer. And I used yellow in my inner corner and kind of left that yellow be, and then apply the orange and brown and black and reddish shades on top of my outer corner. Yeah. So without taking up too much of your time, I hope that you guys have a peaceful rest of your day, and I will see you later.